Good evening, and welcome to the ProTECHtion Event, an evening of education and inspiration. Thank you to the Crown Heights parents for coming out tonight. ProTECHtion Event. This event was coordinated, endorsed, and funded by all of the schools in Crown Heights and all of the schools that are serving the Crown Heights community. Every single moised. This itself speaks volumes to the importance of the matter on hand. Operation Survival of NCFGE, led by Rabbi Bertman, partnered with us and is also a sponsor of tonight's event. Thank you to all the Crown Heights schools. Thank you, NCFGE, for making this ProTECHtion event a reality. We give special thanks and appreciation to Beis Rivka for initiating and hosting tonight's event. With that, I would like to introduce Rabbi Shalom Goldstein, the Executive Director of Beis Rivka, with opening remarks.
Good evening. Shlomo Melech in Kehelis says a very famous pasuk. Masha hoya hu sheyeh, masha nasa hu sheyeh, ve'ein kol chadash tachas hashamesh. The challenge that we're here today to discuss is the challenge of life. In these past few days, Alter Rebbe and Tanya, Perek Yud Beis, discusses the avodah of the Beinani, which is avodah kol yemei chayav. It's the struggle. That is the avodah. This past week, in Shemais, Sefer HaGeula, Moshe Rabbeinu is in the wilderness, in the desert, and he sees a curious incident. He sees the burning bush. The koitzim, the thorns, are burning, and einenu ukol, they're not being consumed. He turns. He's not sure what to do. The pasuk repeats itself again, that an Eibusher tells Moshe Rabbeinu to turn. Then he tells him, Sha'al na'alecha me'al reglecha ki admas koideshu, take off your shoes, connect to the ground. It's a holy place. What is this holy place that the Eibusher is telling Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu is looking at a situation where there's Eish, there's fire, there's Avos Hashem, there's Yiras Hashem, there's a tremendous ratzon to do the Avodas Hashem, but there still is that thorn, and the thorn is not disappearing. So the Eibusher turns to him, tells him to come close, tells him to connect, and tells Moshe Rabbeinu that this is the kavanah, this is the process. This is the kavanah, the dir b'tachtonim. This is avodah kol yemei chayav, the avodah of the Beinani. Moshe Rabbeinu responds to the Eibusher with three responses. The first response, Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Eibusher is, Kvad peh, kvad loshoin anoichi. I'm unable to. I don't have the tools to succeed. Moshe Rabbeinu gets an answer from the Eibusher. Aaron is on the way. He'll take care, he'll help you, you have the tools. The second answer Moshe Rabbeinu gives the Eibusher is that the Yidden aren't going to listen to me. I may be able to, but I won't be able to affect. I may be able to do, but I don't know if I can affect. Says the Eibusher, he's going to give you the tools again. He gives Moshe Rabbeinu two oasis. After showing the Moshe Rabbeinu the two oasis, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Shlach no bi'at tishlach. I may not be able to finish the job, so why don't you give it to the person, to Mashiach, who's going to finish it? And the Eibusher tells Moshe Rabbeinu to continue and to do it, and the start of Geula starts then. This message is the message that we're sharing here tonight. You may ask, or may think to yourself, this is way too large, not something I can fix. The answer is the Eibishter put you in this generation as a parent. You have the ability, you have the tools. You may think, you may tell yourself, it's difficult, they're not going to listen to me, my kids won't be able to appreciate it. If you say it with confidence, you might need one method, a second method, multiple methods, but you'll get through. And the third question, which is the real question, is if we're not able to fix this problem, why start? And the answer is that if we want to be able to get the ultimate redemption in the Gula Amitis Hashlema, we have to start. If we start the Gula, if we jump in it, like Moshe Rabbeinu did, wholeheartedly we'll be able to be successful. This also ties into today's Hayom Yom. And today's Hayom Yom, there's a discussion brought down 3 times in Hayom Yom about the idea that Yiddish Gashmias is Ruchnias. Our job is to take Gashmias and change it over and use it and make it Ruchnias. In today's Hayom Yom, the Hayom Yom finishes off saying that there are times that you don't have the full Gashmias. You don't have the ability to give the full Gashmias to give to the Eibishter. So if that's the case, take what you have. The Rebbe writes in Hayom Yom, even give the little bit, the minchas ani, and the Eibishter will reciprocate with a full hand, and give us the tools to take this beginning of Geula and make it the Geula of Amitis Vashlema.
Thank you, Rabbi Goldstein. Next speaker, I'd like to call on somebody who's passionate about this point, about the connection part, about connecting to our families, being there for our children, being available, being a role model. Rabbi Avremi Schapiro, he's the one without the C? With. Rabbi Avremi Schapiro, Shliach in Bayside, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And let's be honest, a lot of people asked me or any of the other people involved, how does Rabbi Avremi Schapiro from Shliach in Milwaukee land on this? Well, Rabbi Schapiro is on Shlichus for 19 years. He's the director of youth in Lubavitch of Wisconsin. He runs a Gan Yisrael. He works with many teenagers, including Lubavitch teenagers who have come by to be the counselors, whether it's Bachrim or girls. Over the last year, he's been to over 10 different Mesiftas and girl high schools. He speaks from the heart. He's very passionate about this, and he's been successful in creating positive change, and that's the message that we have tonight. So we have no one better than Rabbi Avremi Schapiro.
L'chaim. It's water. Tonight's Chof Ches Tevis, I think 144 years ago, the Rebbe Zechan's birthday. So we say L'chaim, and go to bed there. Everything we're doing tonight should be her source. L'chaim. You hear me? All right. So, my speech is somewhere. Here it is. So, I'm going to start off, I'm going to share something with you. I actually have a small problem. I have an obsession with Diet Coke. And I like Diet Coke, a lot of Diet Coke. I drink it on a regular basis, and I try really hard to avoid it. One day, I had a meeting, the Lubavitch house in part of Milwaukee, and I had a 20-minute drive to go somewhere. So I figured I'm going to stop at a 7-Eleven and get a Diet Coke, because if I was nicht, a 20-minute drive. Whole way driving there, I have this voice in my head. Remy, what kind of chassid are you? Get some water. What do you have to drink? You know it's not good for you. Guys, stop. And I think, what do you mean? I'm thirsty. I'm going somewhere. I'm having this discussion back and forth in my mind. Wasn't working out too well. I see in the distance a 7-Eleven. And I tell myself, no. I hear my wife's voice in my head saying, stop it, drink water. It's better for you. Still didn't work. I pulled right into 7-Eleven. right beside me pulls in a van. This van, just describe it a little bit, is a 12-passenger van with windows on top, and it looked like a garbage can on wheels, kipshute. It was a nasty-looking place. It looked horrible and horrid. Out walked 4 people, 2 girls and 2 guys walk out, and they walk next to 7-Eleven's, a pizza shop called Papa John's, and they walk in there. The 4th one is straggling, and let me describe what he looked like. The tattoos on his face were everywhere. It looks like someone got sicker and just went on his face. He has hate on both fingers. He looked decrepit, and coming out of his nose were 2 spikes. I don't know what got into me. I say to him, "Shalom." He tells me, "Shalom." I say, "You're Jewish?" Yeah. Where did you go to school? He started listing off the Lubavitch Meister he went to. And we're talking back and forth. He said, what happened to you? I end up here. He says, well, I went to Israel after school, and I got involved with drugs, and I'm hanging out. I came back here a few years ago, and I joined a band. And I tell him, "No." He tells me, "That's what I'm doing here." So I tell him, Ingela, I first I lost for words. I said, "Let me buy you a ticket home." There's an airline called Midwest Airlines at the time. But let me buy you a ticket home right now. No, I'm the drummer. I said, "You have no instruments, drummer. You're high as a kite." And I tell him, "Please," and I'm pleading with him. Finally, he says to me, "You know what? I'm not going." So I tell him, "I have an idea for you. Let's put on tefillin." He says to me, "Okay." I have a confession to make. I was pushing nervous. Stuff was crawling in his hair. I took out my tefillin. I helped him with the tefillin. His rabbi, I got this. Like a bacher, made the bracha, everything. He goes, he makes it, he does this, he puts the Shema, does this thing. At the end, he says, "You know what, Rabbi, I make you a deal. I'm not going to go home, but I haven't called my mother in a very long time. I'm going to call her right now and tell her I did a mitzvah." He goes, he has the Nextel phone, takes out his Nextel phone, he calls his mother, "Ma," it says his name, "I did a mitzvah." It lasted 2 minutes, the whole conversation. He slams the phone shut, and he leaves. And he finishes the phone, he comes back, takes off the tefillin. I say to him, please, last chance, I'll buy you a ticket. I get benched. And this went on. I left. I moved on. I got my Diet Coke, guilt-free, by the way, and I went on my way. So 5 years later, I'm somewhere. I almost want to avoid the city. And in walks a guy who I knew this person. I said to him, "By the way, you ever know of this guy?" I described him. He says, "Yeah." No one knows what happened. The guy went off the deep end. But one morning, a few years ago, he walks back into his house. He gets help. He's in rehab, and he's putting his life together. And I'm like, he went to get some more sushi, and he walked away. But I'm standing there stunned. And why am I starting off with the story, as cute as it is, as shkacharpatas as it is? Parenting is a very, very hard job. Sometimes we think parenting is a job, that we have to do the big thing, the amazing thing, the wonderful thing, instead of doing the right thing. I learned an important lesson that day. The right thing has to be done no matter when it is. Today I had a very interesting source. If my voice is shot, I'll tell you why in a minute. I spoke to a lot, 8 or 9 different groups of children. And at the end of every class, every talk, I spoke about some boys, some girls. I asked them for some advice. I said, "Give me advice what to tell parents tonight." And I'll be honest to you, for the sake of all of our faces not turning red, I'm not going to say most of them. And it's being recorded, so I don't want to say that either. But the kids were extremely honest. I asked for surveys. I said, "Hands up if you have X, Y, and Z." And I thought they'd be more embarrassed, they'd be shy. Not at all. It hit me right in the face. As a parent, I'm no different than anyone else. I give a couple. I said, "Tell me something your parents should know." All right, so I'm giving you some of the better ones. I'm just being very honest here. I'm giving you some of the better ones. When I call their name, please look up. When I come home, they have all day to be on the phone without me. Why do they have to wait till I come home to be on the phone? These are the better ones. I thought to myself, and the kids are describing this situation in every class. I spoke to about 9, and I had the same questions. And again and again. And then I did a survey. I said, "How many of you have cell phones?" So raise your hand. "How many of you have this?" Then I said, "How many of you feel like your parents ignore you when they're on their phone?" About 85% of the kids raise their hands. And I was thinking to myself, I had a whole speech planned. I really should just take the recordings of what the kids said and share it. So how do we deal with this issue? I want to share one more thing. The past years, I've been in many, many high schools, seminaries, and yeshivas. And I want to say something, and I want to be super honest because I feel like I'm leaving tomorrow. I can say what I want. Think of the worst thing in your mind that our kids could possibly do. Just think of it. It's happening. I don't want to try to throw cold water, just ruin everybody's day, but it's happening. Whether it's drinking, whether it's everything else. And 95% of it doesn't start in our homes. It starts in their hands. It starts in their hands, their ideas. So sometimes when I leave schools, the first question I ask when I speak in high schools, the girls always say to me the same thing, or whether there's girls, please ask the staff to leave. If not, we're not starting. And not that teachers care. Teachers are wonderful, but the kids have a list of things. Let's clarify. The staff are amazing. I'm just giving you an example of how the kids, what they're thinking. So I was thinking to myself, what can I share? So I want to put forth 3 ideas. 3 ideas that I've seen myself that actually work. And with God's help, we take one of them, it should be good. The first one is the hardest. I asked the following question to the kids. Ready for this? The last question. How many of you feel your parents are hypocrites when it comes to the phones? 97%. I think everybody but one kid who didn't hear my question raised their hand. And this is every single kid. I said, what do you mean? He says, you tell us what to do, but they don't do it themselves. You know something? My kids never question kashrus. Recently, we were in the airport. My kids were hungry. And we went to the cafe. They went to the place to buy something, and there was potato chips. Punked in my family, we don't eat only eat the Jewish brand potato chips. Now, one of my kids, they were hungry, they were starving. Now, one kid even asked me for it, and I asked myself, like, why? I figured out why. Because they know that's my standard. They know I'm not going to lie to them. That's where Tati lives and Mommy lives, so they don't question it. My kids never question Shabbos. My kids never question things that I actually keep. But when it comes to my phone, they question, they challenge, they push, they nudge, because most of us at Bayside are hypocrites. We expect something from our kids. I'm not even referring to simple things as time, what we watch on our phones, what we look at our phones, when we take out our phones and we go like this with our fingers. What? The kids don't know? The kids all of a sudden fell off the moon. Our kids are a part of us, understand good and well. Understand good and well what's going on, and they think most of us are just selling them. Because if they believe, they don't question our kashrus. They don't question these things because they know we believe it. This is subconscious and conscious. You can lie all you want to your kids, and I can lie to my kids. Sorry. Testing. I don't know. Oh, it's back. I apologize. Did I offend somebody? I'm not used to this community. I don't know. We can lie all we want to our kids. They're not going to buy it. And I tell you firsthand, what I heard from different high schools, from boys, from girls, it's there. So the first thing I want to share is take care of ourselves. Number one, any parent in this room who is not have a filter on their phone, for themselves, what the kinder, ourselves, how in the world do we think for a split second the kid's going to buy it? We want to protect them. How many of us I asked the kids today, how many of you, they're all complaining about filters. I said, how many of your parents took you for a walk and explained to you why there's a filter on your phone? No, they just tell us filters. I said, what do you mean? I took my kid on her phone, I explained to him how Hashem made the world, and you have a conversation, explain to them. The Bachrim are even simpler, explain to them, Kinderlach, this is the future, this is your Yiddishkeit, this is our family. Explain to them the filter. And by the way, I told the kids today, I have news for you. You have a problem, if you told the boys, talk to your tati. What? Yeah, your tati struggles also. They were all shocked to find out that the tati also struggles with the phone. We have to, number one, stop the hypocrisy. Then this is ground zero. I made a chlata with my kids. I made it myself. A year ago. I don't know, I felt bad. I made a chlata that what? Any gem video that pops up on my phone under 3 minutes, I have to watch. So I'm laying with my kid, and we're watching something, and the gem video pops up. He doesn't question it, not even once. You know why? Because he knows I keep the hachlata. He knows if a gem video pops up, I gotta watch it. That's my rule. Under 3 minutes, I have to watch it. So the first step is living in this world. You know, most of us, especially the guys, know when you turn around, you watch your kid daven a Fashion Menesrei, he didn't find it because of something else. He watches a Fashion Menesrei because of us. When our kids act a certain way, 95% of it is us. I know it's maybe controversial, but we have to be open with our kids that we struggle. It's okay for them to, I'm not saying tell them every fight that we had with our spouse, but that we struggle. Like mommy and tati also have filters on their phones. Because why? It's not okay for you, it's not okay for me. And I'm telling you, I've seen it with my own kids, but I've seen it with teenagers. There's the biggest lie detectors are our kids. They don't buy it. You know, everyone can leave here, cook does a good, I had a jacket, I go to shul. At home, we're at home. You know, they think, the kids today with the boys, we got into a fun discussion. Why is our parents, I'm sorry for being so grub, spend so much time in the Beis HaKisei? It's a discussion. And the kids are saying, yeah, we know what our father's doing. This is a public conversation. We know what people are doing. Yeah, I found out afterwards. He said, I'm knocking on the door. What do you think is going to happen? Everybody say, we can fake everything else. We can't fake this. It's in our house, it's in our kishkes, it's in our hands. So step number one, honesty. I know it's hard. I'm sorry and that I'm saying this. It's just that on them to garnish vet. The whole video you saw before, Dr. Shapiro's every word is amazing. You can select all, delete if step one is this. If we try to implement anything we just saw behind us, it's not going to work. Step two. I was at a Shabbos dinner at the Kinnos. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I came to the Kinnos, and I wanted to get my son a cell phone. So I figured I'll just go to the tag office and get my kid his phone tagged. I found out there's no tag office. Okay, I had to go to Williamsburg, try finding parking in Williamsburg. It wasn't easy. I got to drive to Williamsburg. I get my kid's phone tagged, and I come back to Crown Heights, and I was sitting in someone's house, and I was venting. I said, what is this place? This is Crown Heights. This is the Rebbe Shchona, and I have to go to Williamsburg to get my phone tag. I was very embarrassed as a Lubavitcher to rack up in Williamsburg. And he says, where was yours? I live in Wisconsin. I don't know. I didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I don't know. I talked to the rabbis. He gave me a speech for half an hour, and every word was right. But I didn't want to hear it, so I didn't hear it. But now, I went to the family. I told the family in Crown Heights, I said, by the way, how frustrating it was. They tell me, what do you mean? We're Lubavitch. We don't filter our phones. And I'm like, what? It wasn't just me. The whole table, these aren't good people, fine to mention. And I was sitting there, I thought maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I am crazy. And I'm like, wait, what? Remember, I'm just quiet. I'm never quiet for anything. And I was like, I know it's challenging. But today I gave the kids an example. They didn't like it. But I said, guys, if your parents really want you to be safe. However, imagine they all gave you a loaded pistol and told you, go to yeshiva. Go to school with a loaded pistol. Just don't shoot anybody. Be careful. I trust you, Ankele. Don't shoot anybody. They all started laughing, of course. Like, what are you laughing about? Your parents trust you. What do you mean? They're not going to shoot your friend. If we don't take simple steps, it's not going to work. It's interesting. There are two things that stick in our heads as kids years later. There's the idea of learning Torah, the idea of doing mitzvahs, also the idea of Mesiras Nefesh. I remember as a kid, random story, but I'll give you an example. My mother, she had go to Manhattan. She had to get, I think, a bunch of her wisdom teeth taken out. Those 2 or 3, whatever it was. I'll never forget. And she went to Manhattan, had her teeth pulled. I remember she was telling me, she came home and she said, I'll tell you what happened today. I went to get my teeth pulled, and I was trying to go back to the subway, and I was getting very, very woozy. The doctor said you have to eat within 30 minutes, something soft for your teeth. She went to get, all she sees is Chalavakum, Haagen-Dazs, this, that. So what does she do? So I said, Ma, what do you do? She said, I got very, very woozy, and I'm allowed to, right? I said, yeah. But then she tells me, I couldn't do it. I went and bought 3 Gerber's baby food instead. And I remember, why am I sharing this story? These things of Mesiras Nefesh last forever. You can give your kid a speech all you want, but showing your kids that we take serious steps to be Frum Yidden, these ideas last. So if your kids see how much we take a step with tagging everything, or whatever it is. I'm not speaking which companies, but the idea of I take this seriously. Lastly, am I good? Lastly, I think one of the biggest challenges we have when kids, I often bring everywhere, and I maybe get in trouble with this. I think we don't teach kids. I try to teach kids, but how beautiful the phone is, how amazing a cell phone is. Not that you have to teach it at a young age. I'm not going there, but we have high school kids who have cell phones. Nobody told a high school kid how much they can learn. We have such smart kids. I got to tell you, over the years, I had hundreds come through, boys, girls, and through our Chabad house, through our shul, through our Shabbos table. They're very, very smart. You know something? Do you know who has the most? Our best girls get most of their influence. Matt Walsh, Ben Schapiro, Candace Owens. Those are our best ones. They have their attention of our kids like you can't imagine. You know, I had a meeting with a bacher recently telling me he left yeshiva. Like, why? I have to find my true self. I said, you learned that from Rabbi Friedman all of a sudden, or Mora Tachtel? Who exactly did you learn this from? There are influences that are going into our kids. Into our kids are good kids. They're all good kids, but our kids who, quote unquote, have the blocks. There are influences going in that I don't think we're careful of. We have to teach the kids, our children, the teenagers. There's so much out there. You know, we had like 7 years ago, a while back, we had a group of counselors that weren't the counselors we were used to in our camp. Baruch Hashem, over in our day camp, we had really fine young girls. And one year, whatever reason, the girls that came, they said, Rabbi, you picked the wrong group, didn't you? I'm like, no, I didn't. I got Chas v'shalom. And 2 weeks into camp, it was it was hard. So we had a farbrengen, as we always do on Shabbos afternoon, my wife and I I said to them, listen up, we're going to try a social experiment. What's a social experiment? You guys are brilliant. I am offering now, any girl who commits to learning Chayenu for 1 month, I am buying a year's worth, buy them a subscription. For Chayenu. The whole discussion, the deal is, for 30 days, you have to do Chumash, Perek Echad, and Tanya. That's the deal. 8 out of 12 girls went. I am telling you, what I saw the next month of a summer, the edelkeit, the refinement, the conversation by the supper table. These are smart, intelligent girls. And I quote one of them, Rabbi, I didn't know about this. No one ever told me. No one ever told me how geschmack it is. And for a full month, every single night, and I want to hear right now, many of these girls are shluchos right now. They're all Baruch Hashem Yiddish mothers, Siddish mothers. It's not because of that moment, but I think that what they learned that day was they're worth more. They're worth more. Kids don't understand how much they're worth. The kids walk around with garbage in their ears. No one ever told them. You know, in my house, we often, if I bring, and I was in yeshiva once, and I was telling them, I love shilas and truvas. I was giving examples. Like, Rabbi, where do you get this stuff? I said, you have a smartphone? There's Rabbi A, Rabbi B, there's a Torah Cafe and Chabad.org, Rabbi Jacobson, Rabbi Patiel, OU, YU. A minute. I said, they're like, really? Yeah, it's all there. Teach them. The girls who come to our house and run to this set of headlines books that I have, push it, they want to. I don't think we understand how smart our kids are. We let them get away with that. And with boys, it's a little bit easier, but with girls, I don't know what we're doing. That we think these girls are second-class citizens just because of heter. We have no right to treat them like this. Okay? They are smart, they're intelligent, and somehow they got the feeling better to learn to hear Ben Schapiro every day than to hear Perek Echad Rambam, because girls should learn Sefer HaMitzvahs. Our kids are exposed to garbage day and night. The least we can do is sit down with our daughters and have a conversation. How much is out there? Learn with Tati, learn with Mommy. This is the reality. No one is teaching them that this is real. I'm not here to give Musar. I have 3 teenagers myself, and this is what I deal with on a regular basis. I'm Chata Shalom, and I ask Mechila, if not, my bad. But I want to end off with 2 things. One, this is very doable. This is very doable. We take this seriously. This is very, very doable. To have a connection to the kinder, it's really, really real. You know, I don't know. Sometimes we try our hardest, and it's a gate nisht. It's a gate nisht. You're right. Sometimes we're the best, amazing parents, and it's a pasha, it's a gate nisht. I'm going to share with you one thing in conclusion. My father, Olav Shalom, was an assistant principal in Oly Teda. He passed away on Motzei Shabbos almost 34 years ago. We finished Shiva on Friday. That Sunday went by dollars. My mother came by the Rebbe. My mother was clearly distraught. 4 little kids, challenging kids. She tells the Rebbe in Yiddish, Rebbe, my Kinder haben nicht kein Tate. My Kinder haben nicht kein Tate. Without blinking an eye, the Rebbe looks at her and says, Wie nicht Bashemayim is their Vater. V'zeh nicht vergessen. My mother told the Rebbe, my kids have no father. The Rebbe told her, God in heaven is their father, I'll never forget them. I could tell you all the years later, Sof kol sof, we Yidden, the Eibusher never ever forgets us. We do our part. We do our one step, a little step. And the step, I can give you a list of ideas, but we don't need them. Everyone has one step they can take. And I promise, the Eibusher will do his part. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Avremi Schapiro. The event is almost over. A couple of announcements and a short video. Number one, in your bags, you have this beautiful booklet that was put together, worked on with amazing resources. And I want to go off script for a minute and thank the organization Must for putting together a beautiful magazine that was delivered to all of our homes. And if you have this and that together, you have a lot of ideas and a lot of tools, a lot of resources, how to start working on this. Number two, I just want to thank everybody who was involved, and I hope I don't miss anybody. I want to thank Dr. Schapiro, thank Rabbi Avremi Schapiro, thank you Yaakov Berman, NCFJE, thank you to a group of mothers who were out here, thank you to Rabbi Benny Wolf from Beis Rivka, thank you to all the schools for joining, thank you to Mrs. Blau from Beis Rivka, to Ms. Lieberson, Ms. Klein, and the Beis Rivka development team. Thank you to Mrs. Rabisky, Ms. Eisenbach, Rabbi Yossi Brisky for putting together the resource sphere, and Ms. Ehrenreich. When the video is over, please make sure to take this with you, and the men should please exit through the door and go out to East New York Avenue, and it will be the time for the women's resource fair. We will watch a video. We will reflect, connect, and protect. We spoke about it. We heard all about it. And now it's time for action. Please pay attention to this video.
One action is worth more than 1,000 sighs. Parents of Crown Heights, it's time for action. Let's hear about steps people have taken to combat technology usage in their own homes. Real parents, real solutions.
I realized that the only way I'm going to get my kids on board with limiting technology is if I lead by example. So I started shutting my phone off for a few hours when my kids come home from school. It was torturous at first, but my kids have felt the difference so strongly that I wouldn't go back for the world.
I changed the visual display on my screen to black and white to make it less enticing for me.
As the life's mission of every chassid, my wife and myself invest tirelessly to imbue our home with all the values of chassidus and saturate our home with Torah, mitzvahs, kedusha. And therefore, it's worth every dime we invested in buying the tag filters for each device, even the time and hassle of fine-tuning each one based on its needs. It's all worth it to uphold the standards of kedusha in our home. Our children know our devices are safeguarded, and we don't rely on ourselves. In a world out there, we definitely need the safeguarding of yichud in the world of technology as well.
My kids know that there are times that I put my phone on silent or do not disturb. They witness firsthand how I do my best to control my phone and not let my phone control me.
I have an accountability partner. Every day for 2 hours, we put away our phones.
Okay, so I know this might sound a little bit extreme, but I actually leave my phone at work. I have a cheaper phone with a number that only my wife knows just for emergencies. And what can I say? It's been the greatest gift for me ever.
I have an app called Digital Detox. I can set challenges for myself with it. I can decide when I want my phone to automatically lock, which apps I can open or lock during specific hours. And the best part is, if I want to quit the challenge, I need to pay to unlock it.
My friends and family know that I set times to check my phone. When I'm responding to messages, I try to stay focused and respond to people intentionally.
My WhatsApp notifications are off. I only see messages if I make the conscious decision to open my phone and look at them.
Okay, so this is a game changer. I got an Apple Watch.
Wherever I am in the house, I get calls and texts and important notifications, but my actual phone just stays by the charger when I'm home. My screen time has never been so low. I went and bought myself and my teens a physical alarm clock so that we don't need phones in the rooms by night.
My wife and I designated certain areas in our house as no phone zones, and that includes bedrooms, even for charging. I saw with my own eyes how my teens slept so much better. My kids know this very well. We use devices only in public areas, and no phones allowed by meals, ever.
Our family computer is in the middle of the living room, and there's a filter with time limits and it reports on all activity.
We installed tag filters on all devices, so worth it.
Only Mommy and Tati know the password to the tablet.
Internet is off limits unless with a parent around, and only for research or school projects.
I was super excited to see that the tech lock filter is now available for Android phones. I had such a great experience using it for the computer and laptops.
We actually have a specific time. I won't say what time because it really depends on each family and what works for that family, that the entire internet shuts off.
So, as passionate as I am about keeping my kids safe from technology, I'm afraid that passion alone won't do it. We need solutions. I see Must as a practical solution to a big problem. And Baruch Hashem, I'm so happy to say that we've set up successful class packs in 3 of my kids' classes.
Because my home has no screen time, I make an extra effort to make my home the fun house that everyone wants to come to. We decorate, we have fun Malav Malka, we do fun crafts and activities instead of just restricting, which is so important. I also want my kids to feel like they have something extra and even more fun and excitement.
After supper, my mommy puts away her phone and reads us a book, and that's my best part of the day.
It gets confusing, it really does. My kids ask me questions like, what's the problem with this? And everyone has it. And they tell me, you don't even know what it's like to grow up without WhatsApp. And sometimes I really don't know what to say. That's why I'm so grateful to have a technology mashpia to ask all my questions to. It's been life-changing to have someone to help me see things clearly and help my husband and I make the decisions that work best for our family.
My kids are relying on me to be a parent with a backbone. I don't want to let them down, and even more than I can't afford to. That's why I set limits.
They opened up. They told us their solutions. Now it's your turn. Tonight, right here. Can you choose something?
Let's stop sighing. Let's start doing for ourselves, for our children, for our community. And together, we'll watch the change unfold.